Hello there. Today I'm doing preparation for the Super Bowl's Carnivore's Feast. What we'll be having are my ribeye taco shooters. Now those are like taco rolls or similar to taquitos. We'll be using ribeye steak, and we're going to grind that up in my meat grinder and then season it with some dry taco seasoning mix that I'm going to make, and we're going to put those in a whole wheat corn tortilla. And then if there's any extra meat, we're going to use just regular flour white tortillas. We're also going to have my hot butter injected chili sauce chicken tenders, which are basically, you'll see those ingredients. Mexican hot sauce and butter injected into a skinless, boneless chicken breast. And then topped, after baking, we'll top it with Frank's Red Hot Chili sauce. And then also we're going to do my cream cheese bacon tater skins, and we'll be taking the pulp out of the potatoes, making a cream cheese and bacon combination, spreading it over the potato skin, leaving quite a bit of potato on there so you're not just getting skin only. And then we're going to use that pulp for Salisbury steak in the next video. So basically that's what the Carnivore's Feast will consist of. And I'm going to be doing some pre-prep for this, so that way Sunday all I'll have to do is just get everything together. I will be making my potato skins fresh on Sunday, but the taco meat preparation will take place today, and the chicken breast will be injected today, but they won't be cooked today either. So the taco meat will be ready today to go for Sunday. We'll just freeze that, and then everything else we'll just do on Sunday. So see you in a little bit. Okay, what we have here is our ribeye steak. I just cut it into some strips, about 1-inch strips, like that. And we're going to put that in our meat grinder, and we're going to grind that down. And that's going to be our ground meat to put in with our spices that I was telling you about. Okay, that's another use of recycled foil there, and that made a nice bowl there, and that was about a little over a pound of meat there, and it almost looks like chili meat, or you can get the grinder with smaller grinder circles on it, come out like hamburger, but this here is just fine. It's almost like a chili meat. So we'll go ahead and cook that up. Okay, now to make your taco seasoning, you're just going to add all these ingredients: or garlic powder, onion powder, chili pepper, Spanish paprika, cumin, and salt. And you do want to leave out the oregano and the cilantro. You want to leave that out. And since I don't have an Old Spice container, I'm just going to put this in a Ziploc bag. Just something that you can make sure it's airtight. And see, that makes a nice amount of seasoning there. Let's say we'll use 2 tablespoons of this, and that's about 1.5 ounces, which is a nice size, your average size seasoning container. For instance, this here is Spanish paprika. That's just, this container itself is 1.94 ounce. So a little under one of these size containers is what this is in this baggie. Okay, so we'll go ahead and season our meat. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get our meat started. We got some bacon going over here. That's going to go into our cream cheese bacon potato skins. Got our bacon going. I'm going to pre-cook that and crumble it up in the food processor. But back to our ribeye here. We're getting ready to put that in. And I didn't mention spaghetti or tomato sauce. I'm sorry for this. But there's a step in here you can put tomato sauce, like when you're making taco meat with the packages. You can add, it usually calls for water. The reason I didn't mention it is you can add about 4 ounces per pound of water or tomato sauce. Today I'm going to just add tomato sauce to this, but that's right at the end when we put our cilantro and our oregano in there. And if you have oregano that's a bit chunky, this here has a few flakes. You just kind of want to break that up a little bit. It's a little splintery, so kind of be careful. You might get a few little pricks there. But you don't want it to be in large pieces. They have large pieces. So what we're doing here is just going to add pepper. And this is optional, but I'm going to add black pepper. The last dish I made, I put too much some type of green pepper, I believe, had come out of a garden that someone gave us, and it was the wrong kind, so I'm not going to mess with peppers in this other than ground black pepper. Okay, so we'll go ahead. You want to brown your meat, and this is pretty lean. The ribeye, it's didn't have much marbling in it. It's a little bit in there, but that'll determine if I drain this or not, how much we have grease we have left. We probably will drain it a little bit, but not much. Okay, so we'll put that down, and then I'll flip my bacon. Actually, it doesn't need flipping. Let's turn that bacon up so we can get done. Okay, so we'll come back to this, and we'll add our taco sauce, or seasoning mix, I'm sorry, in there. And this is 2 tablespoons, as I mentioned. Hello there, we're back. Well, it's winter months are here, and it's no better day than a day for a pot of Sahapan John soup, Kim style. Now this recipe basically, it's long. Okay, it looks like we'll have just a little grease in there, so we'll go ahead and add our taco seasoning that we made in there. You can see that should be a nice reddish brown color, and you'll know that you got it in there just right. Remember, 2 to 3 tablespoons per pound of meat. If you're using chicken, beef, turkey, what have you. And this is ground up pretty good, so we don't have to worry about those big chunks. Now, the average kitchen probably does not have a meat grinder. So what you'd want to do in that case is buy, if you want ground steak, ground beef, regular ground beef, 85-15, 90-10, whatever, ground sirloin, you can get this same taste. It does taste a little different. I think it tastes better than ground beef with the ribeye in it, personally. Okay, so we got that there. As you can see, there's not any grease left for us to drain. So if you're using a cheaper cut of meat, which is fine, you probably will want to drain that beef. Make sure your seasonings are on there, though, except for the last 3 we're going to put in there. You don't want to wait till the meat gets all the way done and then put your seasonings on there, because you want them to kind of cook in as the meat is cooking itself. Okay, so we got that, and we're going to add our 4 ounces of tomato sauce. You can also use 2 ounces of tomato paste if you want. Add that in there, 4 ounces. That's about half a can. And this is no salt added here, this particular one. Our oregano can go in there now at this time. And then we'll estimate about a 1/4 teaspoon of cilantro. Okay, that was a new cilantro there. Okay, so we estimated on that. And then we'll just kind of make sure you get that oregano down in there. And your meat will look like this. Oh, it smells good. If you want to use fresh onions and garlic and any other fresh cilantro, that's fine also. But since I was making taco seasoning mix, I didn't choose to do that. But your onions go in with your meat and your garlic originally when you started if you're doing it with fresh ingredients. Okay, so we got that. It's pretty much done. But we're going to put our lid back on it and let it simmer for about a good 5-10 minutes, and that'll push those flavors through that steak. Okay, it looks like our taco meat is pretty much done. Once that sets, all the flavors will absorb and that will dry up within itself. Okay, so we're done with that, and we'll let that taco meat set and settle, and then I'll show you how to make one taco shooter, and then I'm going to freeze this and you make all the rest of them on Sunday. Okay, so what you're going to want to do, here's our corn wheat blend tortilla. I'm going to drop it in this hot oil. Once you see it bubble a little bit, as you can see, you know it's ready to drop in there. And you're basically just wanting to get this warm and hot enough. Actually, it'll be hot, I shouldn't say warm, to where you can put the meat in there, roll it up in there without it breaking and cracking. I don't recommend making these and freezing them because the corn tortilla will break down easily. Like I say, when they start bubbling, you know you don't want them to bubble too much because you don't want them to get hard. You just kind of want them to be in there enough to where you can move it around like that without it breaking. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and fill these here in a few minutes. Okay, you're probably wondering what's going on with the ribeye taco shooters. Well, we're about to get them started too. We're just going to spray these whole wheat corn tortillas. Spray those with just a cooking spray. And you can do this instead. I want them to be have less fat in them than putting them in cooking oil. You can put them in cooking oil also too. And what we're going to do is spray those, put them in the microwave for about 20 seconds to get them hot. Then we're going to roll our meat up in there. And you also want to work with meat that's fairly warm. So our ribeye steak taco seasoned meat, we're going to warm that up for about a minute in the microwave because it's easier to work with meat when it's hot, rolling these up, or warm, and then cold. Okay, basically we have this set up like a little station here, and what we're going to do is put our meat. See, I'll take those out of there. Put our meat in the put our taco meat in the shells. Actually, is what we're going to do. Get that oil off of there. Try to get some of that oil off the counter there so this stuff doesn't slide. Okay. So basically, I guess we'll rearrange this. And we got some cheese going on over here also with our taco meat. So basically, you're just going to want to put some in there. It's so much easier to work with this when it's warm. It's not hot. It's just warm. And I'm being a carnivore as usual. And I made this 16-ounce ribeye. It's going to make about 4 of these. So a nice little chunk of meat there. A little cheese going on. That's 3 ounces of shredded, finely shredded, I should say, cheese. Okay. And you're going to want to make sure you stuff those babies in there. Just kind of do them like this. Stuff them in there and roll. Stuff and roll. And you want to hold those so your filling doesn't fall out. Just like so. Okay, they should look like this. And then I'm going to be putting those in here, and I'm going to show you, we're going to toothpick those there at the end and tighten them up a bit. Here's the one. And I won't show you how I do all these. I just wanted you to see how I'm doing one. And as I said, it's 16 ounces of ribeye. Ground up pretty well. I had a meat grinder though. If you don't have a meat grinder, you got to do some hellified chopping before you prepare these. Otherwise you're going to have big chunks of meat, and it may not be as tender as you want it. So okay, so we're going to roll this baby up like so, and just kind of push that in there. And we'll be back, and I'll show you how I'm going to toothpick those and get those ready to go for tomorrow also. Okay, basically you just want to put some of this in the middle, and we're going to wrap these up like so. You don't need a whole lot because you want them to wrap up and close up all the way. Get them in there and wrap those up. It's going to be hot, so be careful. That grease is still pretty hot. Okay, there you go. And if you want to put a toothpick in there, you can, but see, you got your meat in there, and it's nice and soft, and that's the wheat one there. And this flour one, we'll see how it's going to do. Just going to put your meat there in the middle. I would suggest doing these here probably with the corn tortilla. The flour ones can get a little crispy on you. And we'll roll this baby up. Okay, that's doing fine. And we'll roll it up. Some of the meat falls out. You can just kind of tuck your fingers around the edges of this if you want as you're rolling it, if you can tolerate that heat. I'm kind of used to it with all the cooking I do. But there you go. Those are your ribeye taco shooters, and you can dip them in nacho cheese dip, whatever you prefer. Those are good to go. Okay, I want to show you this here. We got these here shooters all ready to go, but I want to show you exactly how I do one of these. Getting the toothpicks in there as you're working with this meat and this cheese. So we're gonna get, this here baby here is gonna be hella big, but I think I should be able to get this in there. We probably won't use all that cheese, and this was, like I say, only 3 ounces of cheese, and I probably could have went with 2 from the looks of things. So if you get your meat kind of moist and warm a little bit, you can kind of work with it like this. And you're just going to want to fold it like so. Fold and push. Just kind of mold it. Scrape your cheese in there. And you got some toothpicks broken up over here. I don't know if you can see those toothpicks there, but they're already broken up. Ready to go. And I'm just folding this, as you can see. Nothing's coming out. You want to make sure you got them sides. This is kind of messy. So if you don't want to get your hands dirty, I don't suggest you do this. Okay, there we go. Just flip it. A little snugger, there we go. And then just take your toothpicks. I always start with 1 in the middle, working out on the ends like that, butt out. There we go. Then you can just push your meat in there like that. Okay, so we got 4 taquito like type taco ribeye shooters ready to go for tomorrow. All we got to do is pop these babies in the oven. And you can also, if you have the patience, which I don't have much of, you can also cook these on the stove, but you got to be very careful so they don't come loose. But I suggest, since we've sprayed them down with oil, as you can see, it's got the meat in there. They're tucked good. They're not going to come loose. You want to spray them down. It's real good with oil though, and then heat those in the microwave. Otherwise, they're going to be hard to work with, and they may break on you. So you want to work with a warm tortilla and warm meat. Doesn't have to be hot, just warm enough, because these are just gonna go in the refrigerator. We're not gonna refreeze these. You don't want to freeze unthaw, nothing like that. But these will be fine because they're gonna be getting cooked in less than 24 hours. So these will go in the refrigerator. 4 nice big ones all ready to go. Look at them babies, they are just full. And that we're gonna have the dipping sauce for this will pretty much just be a con queso salsa dip. Or you can just eat them just like they are, but I'm a dipping type person, so there you have it. See you at the game tomorrow. Okay, we got our ribeye taco shooters ready to go, and this is how you'll do these babies if you want them nice and crisp. Put a little bit of oil in a skillet, put them in there. You just want to barely hear it bubble, And you don't need to leave these in very long. And you can take the toothpicks out now or leave them in, but I'm going to leave them in until I do each side. And then we'll take them out and flip it and do the top. So, again, I'm going to show you how we do these. And that way you see the meat is still in there. You don't want the meat coming out. Okay, that's been in there. And give it a nice little turn. Turn it up just a little bit. And this is just a process of however crispy you want them. Flip that baby like that. Get a nice little crunch right there on the outside now. I'm going to go ahead and pull these out. Oops, one of them went back down in there. Got to get that baby out of there though. There we go. You don't want to cook it with that toothpick in there and forget about it. And we can just flip it over. And this is the way you can do them, or you can do them like in the oven. Just put them in the oven, because remember we did spray them, so you can put them in the oven too. And then here we got our other goodies that are all ready to go for a second round later. So we're going to put this back in the refrigerator. And we're going to get that top nice and crispy, and which it should be now. And you can make these till they're golden brown or whatever. And then after you get done with this though, to get that inside real hot, you're going to have to stick this in the oven for about 5 minutes on about 350. And that's a nice little crunch to that. So that's just right the way I like them right now. But I want to get a little bit of that brownness going on the sides too. Just take these babies, and you can see a little nice little toasty brown on there. Put that one there. A few more minutes and that'll be through. Get that out of the way. And you can have a draining rack, or you can just use a paper towel, which is what I'm going to do here. Just going to use a little paper towel and let that drain on there. So I like to pat mine a little bit. And here we go. We got a nice little toasty brown on that side and a toasty brown on this side, and then we'll be through with that. And then we're gonna leave that baby sit there and put it in the oven for round 2. You're gonna get my first plate fixed up now, so I can sit down and get my crunch on, sip on a little wine, and watch my boys do what they gotta do. The Ravens, by the way. Okay, these will be the ingredients for our hot butter injected chili sauce chicken tenders. We have about a 10-ounce package here of chicken breasts, and that's boneless and skinless. I'm using Land O'Lakes light butter here that I'm going to be mixing with Valentina or Mexican hot sauce. Probably wondering why I'm not using Frank's. This is fine also, or any type of hot sauce if you want to inject your chicken with is fine. We got our injection syringe here, and I'm going to be combining these two deals here to make a injection sauce with the hot sauce, Mexican hot sauce, and the butter. And that's what we're going to inject into these. And then once we get that done, we'll season them, of course, using some Weber kicking chicken with sea salt in it. No MSG, and then just regular black pepper. And then at the end of that seasoning process, we're going to be preparing the chicken breasts, and then we're going to do about a 5-minute baking with our Frank's Red Hot sweet chili sauce over the chicken breasts. So that's how we're going to do that. And if you're going to make your injection sauce, you can just kind of use your own judgment. And then as far as with the seasoning, also use your own judgment. You don't have to pre-season the chicken if you don't want. You can just inject it, bake it, and then just put your chili sauce on it at the end if you'd like. But we're going to do all of the steps there. Okay, and that'll be for our hot butter injected chili sauce tenders. Okay, what we're going to do is go ahead and get our chicken breasts ready. We're going to be cutting these into tenders. If you do see any tendons or excess skin on the chicken, you may want to cut that off, especially those tendons like that, because those are hard to eat and bite through. Okay, let's get that off of there. Okay, and basically what we're going to do with these is season them. Again, like I said, with the Weber's Kickin' Chicken seasoning with sea salt. So we're just going to season those. And you can just season it according to what you like. I'm not going to put a whole lot on here. Get that side, and we'll get this side, because we're going to have the chili sauce, and then they're going to be injected. So, okay, so we got that. And what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to be injecting these with a syringe here, and I'm going to pretty much go inward, and I'm going to try to get 3 injections in each. And what I'll do is just cut them up and make them into the tenders the day of the Super Bowl. So as far as our injection ingredients, we're just going to get some of this butter, and this is Land O'Lakes light butter. What I'm going to be doing with that is melting it down. We got some of our Mexican hot sauce here, and this is a little thicker. I like using it better than the Frank's. It's thicker, and the lifespan of this is very much longer than Frank's sauce, so it's good till 2016, whereas Frank's you only get maybe a year. Okay, so we'll go and microwave this and melt that down, then we'll come back and start injecting. Okay, so we have our butter and hot sauce in there, and just melt it down. And we're going to go ahead and pull that up in there. I can get it up in there, right? Okay, there we go. And this works better sometimes than others. We'll move that there. Okay, and we're just going to take these chicken tenders, kind of hold the top. There we go. Inject your syringe and slowly inject, and you can see that come out there. So we got that one pretty good. And just kind of slowly inject, and you'll see it come out of the different various openings in the chicken. And this is hot, so you can feel that there. Okay, and we'll get this one here. This is a kind of a messy thing, but it'll be very tasty, and you can feel them kind of puff up a little bit too. There's some more of that hot sauce and butter coming out of there. You can kind of inject and pull, inject and pull. Okay. And we got a little bit more left, so we'll inject some more, and there's some more coming out of an opening. We got some more left here, so we may as well use it up. It's almost like a actual doctoral syringe. Okay, there we go. And we're going to inject and pull. Let's turn this baby here around. Inject and pull. And these should have some pretty good flavor going on in there. And what I'm going to do with these is freeze these. You can kind of make your openings wherever you want. I'm going to freeze these until game day. And then we're going to get those out. Okay. So we got a nice little pile there of our injection stuff there. Alright. So this is what those will look like. Like that, and you can just kind of, as you see, that's why I didn't season those much, because I knew we were going to lose quite a bit of our sauce, but that's okay. Okay, and what we'll do is go ahead and wrap these up, or you can put them in a baggie, but I'm just going to wrap these up here. And we'll put these in the freezer until game day, and then we'll cut those in their tenders. Alright, so we'll go ahead and wrap these babies up there in some cellophane. Okay, and let those freeze and kind of seal in their own juices like that, like so. Freeze that. That's about 1.2 pounds, so about 1.25 pounds of chicken there, and that's going to basically sit in the freezer until game day. Okay, now what we're going to do here is prepare, or I should say cook, our hot butter injected chicken breasts that we put together earlier in the week, and I froze them, so we just have 2. And let's see, so we just got 2 servings, 2 to 3 servings there, depending on, probably 3 servings, because I'm not going to eat both of those, and it'll probably be so many strips that I do eat. Okay, so what we're going to do is leave those like this and just make a pocket, and they're already seasoned. They already have been injected with the light butter and the Mexican hot sauce, and we're just going to make a pocket. Make sure this is covered well. And you don't need to put any spray on the foil because we did inject them with butter, so all of that will help with the cooking. And we're going to bake these until they get done for about 20 to 30 minutes or so. And what we're going to do here is pour our chili sauce. This is our Frank's Red Hot sweet chili dipping sauce. We're just going to pour that in there. This is going to be about 3 tablespoons is what I'm just going to estimate. You can measure it out if you're not good with the naked eye. And what we're going to do when I get those breasts out of the oven, I'm just going to cut those up and go 2 tenders at a time in there and just kind of turn them. And then those will be ready to go for tomorrow also. I'm going to let those sit, and then those I'll just warm up tomorrow on game day, because I'm going to have some of those to eat actually today too for dinner. Okay, and here we have our chicken breasts that's done. Got one there and one there, and those are nice and done. Now what we'll do, let's go ahead and cut these. I'm going to cut these into tenders, and I'm just going to take a fork and cut these like this. You can cut them as thick or thin as you want. I'm cutting mine like that. And it'll be about, looks like about 4 tenders per piece of chicken there, per breast. Okay, and I'm going to show you the insides of this, how this looks. It's very nice and juicy. You can see that there. You can see the coloring of our butter and our hot sauce in there. And this made a nice buttery brine that's in that foil. And actually I'm going to scoop a little bit of that, which is fine to do because it is cooked. Scoop a little bit of our brine in there with our chili sauce. Okay. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is take this, zoom out a little bit on that, there we go, and I'm just going to do 2 at a time like I said. Just put them in there, and I'm going to be having these for dinner tonight. Put those in there and get them nice and coated. So I'm going to move my foil over here out of the way, what we cooked with there. Get them nice and coated there. It'll look like this. And I'm just going to set those back on a pan here. Just in a little pie pan. Nice and coated. You want that all over those like that. And again, there's no need to spray these. And And these other ones that I'm doing are just going to go in some more foil. I'm going to put those in there and just let those heat up tomorrow. So basically there you have it. We'll have just 2 there that I'm putting in the oven. And I'm going to have that with some other items for dinner tonight. But basically there you have it. The chicken tender, hot butter injected, chili sauce, chicken breasts. There you have it. And those on game day, you just want to warm those up. You don't have to do a whole lot to them because they are cooked already. I didn't cook them to like a dryness. They were very, very moist. So you only want to cook them about 15, maybe 20 minutes at the most. And you see how moist those are. Okay, now here's our bacon. I just have a regular skillet, and I don't know where I got this deal here, but it drops the grease down through there. If I pick that up, you'll see all the bacon grease right there, so it doesn't just cook in its own bacon or grease. Okay, and that's getting crispy. You want it to be crispy enough to put it where we put it in the food processor. Now, if you want, it'll crumble up. Now, if you don't want your bacon that crispy, that is fine, but it does mix up in the cream cheese a lot better when it's crispy and crunchy. And then as it sits in the cream cheese, if you prepare this the night before or early in the morning for the evening game, it will soften up as it's in the cream cheese to spread on your potatoes. It's going to be like a cream cheese bacon spread is what this is going to consist of. Okay, now this here is the start of our cream cheese, which will have bacon in it. So bacon cream cheese potato skin spread, or tater skins as I call them. And what we're going to do with this, as you can see, this is 4 ounces of low-fat cream cheese. As you can see, it's a little firm. It's been sitting out, but not too long. So we're going to microwave this down just a little bit. You don't want it bubbling, just enough to get it soft, because we're going to stir our bacon up in there. Okay, so we have our cream cheese there. And you can get fat-free or regular cream cheese. As you can see, it's a little easier to work with like that. And I'm not making very much of this because I'll be the only one eating it more than likely. So, okay, so we have our bacon, and this comes from our bacon that we cooked on the stove earlier. So all we're going to do is just kind of mix this up. And if you want to add any seasonings in this, you can. I think I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. And a little bit of onion would be good in here also. So I think we'll go over here and come back and put some onion and bell pepper in there. Okay, and I did put a little bit of bell pepper. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of bell pepper and a little bit of onion in there. Very little. We didn't want to use too much. And then I also decided to add a little bit of extra sharp cheddar cheese, just to give that cream cheese, offset it a little bit. And this is extra sharp, so we'll go there. That's about a ½ ounce of cheese there. So we'll sit that there, and then just a little bit of regular black pepper. Alright, this is going to go on top of potatoes, so, and just kind of fold that in there. What this is going to do is just set. Actually going to freeze this also. Set it in the freezer. It's so many things you can prepare instead of doing all this the day of, which is fine, but the chicken, the ribeye, I may even be making some meatballs, so I didn't want to have to be boggled down with doing all that on Super Bowl day and then be too tired to watch the game and all the other festivities that go along with the Super Bowl. Okay, so there we have that, and that's all mixed up and ready to go. If I can get that last, there we go. That's all mixed up and ready to go. So we have our bacon cream cheese tater topper there, and that should spread on, probably make a couple of potatoes to put this on. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be using the potato filling, or the pulp, in other words, in a Salisbury steak that we're going to be showing you how to make that next week. So, alright, there you have it. Next time you see me, or hear me rather, it'll be Super Bowl Sunday. Now what we have here are 4 basic Idaho russet potatoes, and then here we have our cream cheese bacon that we made, and I put that in cellophane and froze it. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to microwave these here to speed up the cooking process. You want to microwave these about halfway done. So according to your microwave, however long you put your potatoes in there to get them totally done, use half that time, because you don't want them totally done, because then they'll be too soft, and when you go to cut them and pull the pulp out, it's going to tear up. So what you'd want to do is cook them halfway, and then I'll show you the next step from there as far as getting them ready to go into the oven. And we're going to pre-do these and get them ready and stick them in the oven on game day. And you can freeze these until they're ready to go into the oven with the spread on them. Okay, now we have cooked our potatoes here. Made 4 of them. Basically now what we need to do is just cut these in half. I let them cool off a little bit, and just going to cut them in half, and they're still a little firm in the middle, and that's how you want them, because we're going to get that pulp out of the middle. And these don't have to be perfect, but you do want them to be somewhat even, so you can put your skins on there right. What we're going to do, I'm getting a glass bowl here that we're going to put the pulp into. Okay, so we'll put this bowl, we'll set these up here, and we'll put our bowl there. And basically you're just going to go, this is a grapefruit spoon, so it's got little ridges on the edge. If you don't have one of these, you can use a knife and just kind of go around like this and just kind of make you a line of where you want to cut or scoop the potato out of, per se. I'm leaving quite a bit of potato on the skin because I don't want these to be literal potato skins. I want it to have some pulp, some of the pulp left on the outside. And this is a little tough to do, so you got to kind of take your time, and these are very hot. And the reason I didn't cook this all the way is because I do want to leave some for Salisbury steak that we're going to be cooking. So that's what I'm going to use for mashed potatoes, is that there in the middle, what I'm scooping out. Okay. And as you can see, like I say, I'm leaving quite a bit of potato on there, and that way we can fill these up. So we got our first one done there, as you can see. That's kind of what it looks like. It doesn't look very appetizing right now, but trust me, they will be at the end. And we'll just kind of sit that over there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish scooping the rest of this pulp out of here. And when I come back, we're going to make a fill this baggie here with our cream cheese and make kind of like a deal we can, like you do with cake frosting, and fill these up. Okay, as you can see, we have all of our potato skins there, and all of these are just like the pulp is out, and I left a little bit of potato, as you can see, around the edge, because I don't just want literal skins. This one here is almost just a total skin. That one tore up a little bit, so that'll probably be the tester right there. And then our pulp we just put in a bowl, and I'm going to make mashed potatoes out of those there for Salisbury steak tomorrow. I'll make those up today and make a nice little small batch for 2. So we'll move those out of the way. Now what we're going to do here, we just have a Ziploc bag, a little snack pack. We're just going to cut a hole in the end, like so. And then this is our cream cheese, which is the bacon and onions and bell pepper in there that we made last night, and I froze it. And I want this to be kind of solid, so as you can see, it's nice and solid, but it's not frozen. We'll go ahead and put this in here. Close that up. what we'll do, let's just take some and just kind of squeeze it out of there into each potato. And then I'll take my spoon that I had and just kind of mash that down in there. And you don't have to put this in there a whole lot. You don't have to fill it all the way up into a heaping amount, because it's going to cook down in there, and we're also going to put a little bit more cheese on the top of this. So just to get it started, you just want to put a little bit in there. I hope we have enough. I may have to make some more of this, but we'll use what we have for now just to fill these up. And like I say, you can add whatever toppings you want on this, whichever to your liking. Let's get this out of here. This is a pretty big one there. Okay, so you want to just kind of fill these up and get this other one going here. And this, you can spread this on there also if you'd like, but to me this is a little more simple. Put that down in there. Then spreading them on each one. But it's up to you, whatever you want to do. Okay, drop that down in there. And like I say, when it's cold, but you don't want it frozen, but when it's cold it does spread a lot better than if this is warmed up. Okay, there's that one there. We got a little bit more left. Okay, a little small amount left. So what we'll do with that is go ahead and get that on this little one here. Okay, now what you want to do now, we have, as you can see, the cheese is in there. And these are not, like I say, they don't have to be overfilling, or overflowing, I should say, with this cream cheese bacon mixture, because we're going to add cheese and a little bit of sour cream. So what we're going to do first is just kind of take the spoon and mash this down a little bit just to make it flat. Kind of make a little valley in there. That's why I say you don't want to overfill these, because what we're getting ready to do here next, if you overfill them, your filling is going to run off when you put these in the oven on game day. So just kind of mash those down in there. The potato will open up a little bit. My hands there. Okay. And then what we're going to do, this is an ounce of sour cream, or 2 tablespoons. Take that sour cream and just put it right over the top like that on each one. And what this is going to do when you cook this, it's going to kind of run down in there, and it's going to help the cheese that we're going to put on top of here stay on there also. It's kind of like a sealant per se. Some people don't think you can cook sour cream, but actually sour cream is a good filler for mashed potatoes also. Makes them a little more thicker and fluffier when you're whipping them up. Okay, we got a little bit left, and you know I don't waste stuff, so we're going to get that out of there. Okay. So here, and like I say, these potatoes are not perfect, like this one here is torn, but you won't know. We're going to eat those anyway. And then we'll take our cheese and just put a little bit on the tops. And once I get done with these, I'm going to put them in the freezer until game day, and they'll be all ready to go. A little chunk of cheese there. They'll be all ready to go, and you're going to want to bake these on a cookie sheet without a lid or no foil covering. If you cover them up, they're going to be very soft, and they're probably going to tear up when you go to take them off of there. So this is how these will look there. And these are pretty tasty. And like I say, be versatile with your toppings. You can put anything you want on top of these. The main thing is you don't want to overfill them. As you see, I'm pushing this down. You don't want to overfill them because they will run over. As you know, cheese will bubble, and I cook these on maybe, I'd say about 250 to 300. I wouldn't have them on 400 or 500. If you want your skins crispier, put them on a bottom rack, a lower rack, and bake them. And you might want to do those at about 350 the last 5 minutes or so of cooking these. Okay. If you want to top them off with some more bacon bits, you can for color. But in our case, what I'm going to use instead of bacon bits, if I can find it, is some good old parsley flakes. Put some parsley flakes on here. Just to give it a little color, and parsley adds a little flavor as well. And we're going to go with a little bit of paprika. Add a little color on there also. Paprika is good in salads, deviled eggs, just kind of a variety of things you can put paprika on. Okay, so there you have it. Bacon, cream, cheese, tater skins. And we added sour cream, parsley tops, and paprika topping. And we'll cook these babies up for game day and see what they're hitting for. May as well use the rest of my cheese. Alright, see you back when they're ready to go in the oven. Now, I'm going to cook one of these up now just to show you what it'll look like. If you do this while the cream cheese and everything is cold, if you pre-prep them, you can spray your skins. Just flip it over like that. Turn it back over, and you can put this in the oven on the cookie sheet. So just a simple flip, spray, and put it on a cookie sheet. And we're going to see what this comes out like. I just want to do one to test it. And here we have our cream cheese, bacon cheddar potato skins all ready to go in the oven for tomorrow. All we'll have to do is just pop them babies in the oven, and those are frozen. As you can see, they're nice and frozen, stay together well. And those are going to sit in the freezer covered up, and then we'll uncover them and put them in the oven tomorrow. They'll be all ready to go. I'm making this a quick, snappy game day preparation by having everything done, and everything will still be just as tasty as if it were just made. Now here's basically what the finished product will look like on game day. You can look forward to this result. Basically, we got all of our pretty colors there, our cheese. And we turn this around here. We got our, see how much cheese is down in there. We got a cream cheese, sour cream, all that's nicely down in the middle of that potato, and you got quite a bit of skin there on the sides. So that'll be just right. If you want your skins to be a little crispier, instead of putting them on a cookie sheet, I found that you can put them just on the baking rack. Just make sure you have something underneath it in case any oils drip down, which it shouldn't if you stuffed them like I showed you on the video. So there you have it. Bacon, cream, cheese, tater skins. One more thing I'd like to show you. I'm going to cut this baby here in half, just so you can see exactly how much filling you got in there. See all of that? And all that, it's all filling, not just a bunch of skin with cheese on the outside. Got quite a bit of filling there to make for a pretty good taste. You won't even need any type of sauce to eat with these. It looks like there's plenty of filling in there. Should be just right. I think I'm going to try mine right now. See you on the next one. Okay, so we have our water boiling, and then we're just going to go ahead, and if this makes too much celery, we'll be able to tell once it cooks down a little bit. And you don't want this to cook to where it's really mushy. Just want to blanch it basically to get it to where it's not quite as crispy as it is in its original state, but just enough it'll probably lighten up a bit in color. And then we'll take that out, and then we'll finish the process. Start with dehydrating it, which will be putting it in the oven. When you dehydrate something like this without a dehydrator, you want to put it in the oven on the lowest setting, usually for at least a couple of hours. Basically what it'll do is dry out all of the moisture in it, and it will act, your oven can act as a food dehydrator. I don't do this very often, so we'll see how it goes with the celery because it does have quite a bit of moisture. Now I could also add this to the food processor first, which is thinking about doing that. We'll see how it is after it's blanched, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we went ahead and put that in the food processor, and as you see, when that comes out, that's how it looks. And we're just going to dehydrate it from this state here. And that gets, if you see any large strings in there, make sure you get those out, because celery can be a bit stringy from the fibers that are in that particular vegetable. Okay. Alright, so we got that out good enough. There's a few pieces in there. Now this is still pretty hot, so, but basically it's very moist, as you can see, quite a bit of moisture in there, so that's why we need to dehydrate it. You can't put this in your dressing here, which is what we'll be using, the blue cheese light wishbone. You can't put that in there that moist, otherwise you're going to have a very runny type of salad dressing, and we don't want to be dipping our snacks in a runny dressing. So that's why we're going to dehydrate this in the oven and see how it comes out, and then we will add it to our dressing after that. So I'll check back with you. I'm going to put this in there on 150 for about an hour. Check it. If it's still not dry enough, put it in there longer. What you don't want to do is turn your oven up to try to make it dry fast, because then you can possibly burn the celery. If the moisture comes out of it too fast, it will burn and be very crunchy, and you don't want to put it in your salad dressing like that. You also don't want to use dry celery seed or anything like that. You will not get the same flavor. And this here is our dehydrated celery. You remember how that looked at first, and it's a bit crunchy but not too dry. You can just kind of crumble it up a little bit, but when this goes into the dressing, it's going to soften up. So what we'll do, it's almost like a dry celery, but it'll taste a lot fresher. We're just going to scrape that off of there, and then just put this on the plate. Little saucer there. And like I said again, it's almost like a dry celery, but it's not. It'll be a lot tastier, and it'll mix in better with that dressing. Blue cheese dressing we're going to put in there. Okay, so there we go. That's how that looks. Get a close up. It's dehydrated celery. And basically what we're going to do here is make about 8 ounces of that dressing. Tear that out. Okay, so we'll want 8 ounces, and you're probably wondering why I'm doing this the day before the Super Bowl. Well, actually, it's because this will flavor a lot better. I'm one of those people that are big on flavor, and it'll taste a lot better eating it the next day. There's 5 ounces. Okay, I'll go a little under 8 ounces with that. I don't want that to overflow. This is a 16-ounce bottle. I beg to differ by this being only 6.8 ounces that I poured in there. Okay, and then there's our celery again, and we're just going to sprinkle that in there. Looks like some nice pretty greens there. Looks like some other kind of greens, but we're not going to go there. Okay. And let's see, we'll just get a spoon and just fold those dehydrated celery in there. And this is gonna sit overnight, so it's gonna flavor in with that blue cheese dressing, and it should have a nice blue cheese celery taste tomorrow for the big football game. All right, so there we have it, our dehydrated celery blue cheese light dressing. Let that sit overnight, and that should be good to go. And you can do this if you don't like the big chunks of celery. This is going to go along good with our hot sauce butter injected chili sauce chicken tenders. We're going to use this as a dipping sauce actually. So that'll kind of cool things off without having to take a bite of a piece of celery. Celery's already in there, and it'll have a subtle celery taste in the blue cheese dressing. Okay, here we go with our meal. I'm about to bite into this and see what's really going on. First, I'm going to start with our buffalo chicken tenders here, or hot butter injected chicken tenders. I'm so used to making them hot. On point.
What are we going to do today? Well.
And next we're going to check out this potato skin here. What are those? Nice and filling. Just like they're supposed to be.
What are we going to do now?
Just going to get that right out of there. I don't eat the skins of potatoes, but that's what that baby looks like.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the
Them buffalo, or those chicken tenders rather, hot butter injected chicken tenders. You got a spice going on, a sweetness, and a tanginess. And with this dehydrated celery in that dressing there, that's right on time. And that potato comes right out of that skin, as you can see. That's just how I like them. Comes right out of the skin.
So you were coaching one of these two teams. What would you tell them here at the very start? Well, I think for the players, this is an emotional time. No doubt about it. They've been waiting for it for 2 weeks. So make sure you don't overplay a play on the offense or defense and make a big mistake that actually could cost you the game.
We're going to cut into that ribeye taco shooter there. And nice and flaky. Just right there.
Rookie second rounder out of Oregon. Had a touchdown in the NFC Championship game against Atlanta.
Full of meat. That's 3 ounces of meat in that baby.
A difference maker this season for the Ravens. 3 game-winning kicks, including the one from 47 yards.
When I weighed it out, it weighed 5.5 ounces, just one of these. With the cheese, the tortilla, and the meat in there.
It's Tucker driving it all the way to the back of the end zone and through the end zone, bringing Kaepernick out to the 20. The 25-year-old second-year quarterback who's been the hot
This is what's up.
in the NFL this past month. Huge performance against
Super Bowl goodies, Carnivore's feast. Got it going on. I'm not mad.
Line has been intact all season. Not missed a single start.
It's very tasty. It's going to be quite filling. This is my dinner too, doubling up as a dinner. Switched up my wine thing and did a Chardonnay instead of White Zinfandel. Tastes very good. Carnivore's feast. If you want to know how to make any of this, hit me up on Facebook or YouTube. Peace. Enjoy the game.